All right. We know we have emotions. We have emotions that course through our bodies day in, day out. Half of our life is wonderful. It's amazing. The other half is not so much. And we want to avoid those and we want to dodge those, but yet we have to be able to process those. What does processing your emotions mean? Why is processing your emotions so important? How do you process those emotions? We're going to be talking about that this week on episode 232 of The Relaxed Male. This is The Relaxed Male, a show that comes to you each week helping men to remove the nice guy from their life so they can actually live their life on their terms. Join the host, certified coach Brian Goodwin, as he helps men step out of their heads and become free from the thoughts that bind them. Hey man, hello and welcome to The Relaxed Male. I'm your host Brian, and I am a certified men's coach that assists men who are just going through their day-to-day suffering. They're just neck deep in the overwhelm, the frustration of trying to have the relationship that they want, trying to get the spark back in their relationship. And that's what we're doing here. We help guys find their why, get themselves on the other side, press through those scary parts, because on the other side, you've got your bride waiting for you to live your life and live your life to the fullest. And the only way you can do that is by bettering yourself. And that's what we do each week. We work to see if we can help you men become a better man, become better, all well-rounded man, so that you can actually lead your family and lead your life with the purpose that you want to have. And that's exactly one of the big things we're going to be talking about this week. And that is that my ideas of when it comes to processing your emotions. Now, granted, this isn't something new. This isn't something wonderful and great that I came up with. Actually, I heard about the concept of processing your emotions from my mentor, Brooke Castillo. And it took a little while for me to fully understand what she was meaning by processing your emotions. What do you mean processing your emotions? And you're supposed to, because I would hear her say, well, you want to sit and just be with your emotions. It's like, but what does that look like? And that's just kind of the differences between a man and a man and a woman is that we look at the same thing and we will have two different types of experiences, what we're looking for. And that's one of the big things about this whole process of processing your emotions, because it's something that we need to be able to do. This is something that we aren't taught. And you have a lot of people in society. I get it. They like to run around going, oh, men don't feel their emotions right and blah, 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 blah. No, we know this is absolutely horse hockey, because men show their emotions all the time. The deal is that we often show aggression when we have an emotion that we don't like. If we feel disempowered, we're going to feel aggressive or have aggression and feel anger, because that's a lot more powerful emotion than just sitting there in the squalor of disempowerment. So we express our emotions, but the problem is that we don't ever fully come to understand why we feel that particular emotion. That's one of the big things that actually helps us become a better, well-rounded man, because we can then stop avoiding an emotion just because it feels bad, because we feel disempowered, because we're embarrassed, or because we don't want to be rejected by our wife, because of whatever reason we have. And life is, if you've heard anything about what I've said, life is 50-50. Half the time is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's great. It's positive, feel good emotions. We're feeling great. We have great thoughts when we're positive. We're heading in the right direction. And then the other half of the time, it's an absolute crap show, man. We are dogging on ourselves. We feel like crap. We feel bad. We feel, like I said, disempowered. Also may feel scared or full of fear. Jealousy, which is again a type of fear-based emotion. We have all these different feelings, but because of how that emotion is felt, that is what keeps us from progressing to a better to a better spot. This is what causes us to fall into our indulgent emotions and not just the indulgent emotions of like being angry, but we also fall into our buffering and start feeling, doing indulgent actions. And when I say indulgent actions, that's things like, if we're, feeling disconnected, feeling bored, feeling, not great. A lot of times we will, as men, a lot of men these days, we turn to porn, and we use that as a means to have a better feeling than the boredom, or have a better feeling of being, we just got yelled at by our wife, so we're going to go hide out in our room for a while. We get, or if we try to ask our wife, hey, you want to have a little fun in the sack? And she says, no, I don't feel like it. Well, you're going to end up feeling dejected. You're going to feel rejected, and you're going to do something that will mask and cover up that bad emotion. That bad emotion, or that masking, may end up being that you go out and you get a drink of beer, or maybe drink alcohol. You feel pressure from something. You don't want to feel that pressure and that stress. So you get drunk, you take a drug, you watch television, you sit down, you play video games. There's a lot of different things we use that's not necessarily illegal, but we use stuff in our life as a means to buffer and keep distance, or keep way on in distance, the sensations that we don't want to actually feel. This is why so many of us are overweight, because we overeat. It's better to feel bloated and full and miserable than to have to feel disempowered. It's better to feel like we're going to pop. It feels better to feel that than to feel rejection from our wife. It's better to have the hangover tomorrow than to just experience the fear of an argument. We struggle with our negative emotions, not just as men, women. Honestly, women do it too, and they do it in their own particular ways. But since I'm a dude, and I can't, I'm not the dude, but I am a guy who is aware of how I operate and how many other men operate also. I feel more authoritative in the ability of saying, well, we're dodging emotions. We want to run from the emotions. We are resisting those emotions. And when we resist emotions, this is where we get so much trouble. This is where the depression comes into play. We avoid things like anxiety and end up piling it on and more and more and more, because we don't want to feel anxiety. We don't want to feel a little anxious because we're trying something new, to the point that eventually we start having panic attacks. And these are things that when we don't process those emotions, that panic attack can almost be debilitating. We have so many guys now who won't even go outside to work, to do work. They were like, oh, well, I've got social anxiety. No, damn it. You don't have social anxiety. You have just regular anxiety. And the problem is that you have coddled yourself so much, and you've let other people coddle you with that anxiety, that you can't get up out of your seat anymore. That anxiety is nothing more than a vibration. That's what all emotions are. They are vibrations that are felt throughout your body. It's a sensation. It's a feeling. All right. What are you feeling? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling horny? What is it? Your emotions create your actions, and your actions create your results. But they all start with what you're thinking of the circumstance is. If that made any sense. It almost sounds like it didn't make sense to me. But whatever you're viewing the circumstance is, that's the thought that you're having. That emotion came from that particular thought. Well, I don't want to get rejected from my wife, so I'm not going to say anything to her, ask her for sex or anything. I'm just going to go to the computer or pull up Pornhub on my phone and go through there and look at some porn, get a release, feel a little bit better about myself, and I have no more connection with my wife than I did before. What is it that you truly want? Do you want to have a good, loving, fulfilling relationship with your wife? Or do you just want to burp the gherkin? Huh? You going to flog the dolphin, or are you going to actually take a chance and go talk to your wife? I know girls are scary, man, but come on, you had enough backbone to at least ask her, will you marry me? So you can now ask her, hey, what's going on in your day? Start having a connection. Start having a discussion. It's going to be weird. It's going to be awkward. And those are the emotions that we want to avoid. We don't want to feel awkward. Well, I should be talking to my wife and have no problems whatsoever with it. Well, that's you shitting on yourself. No, if you haven't had good, full, honest, deep conversations with your wife in the past 5 years, it's going to be a little awkward when you're trying to, hey, so what's going on? What television show are you watching these days? These are weird questions. Why are we struggling with that? Because we don't do it. And since we're not used to doing it, we struggle on trying to find ways to relate with our wife. Right now, all the things we really relate with are it's time to pay bills. All right, we got this and we got this and got this. Which ones are we paying this week and which ones are we paying next week? Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, sweet, awesome. We got through it without having anything thrown at our head or us calling her some name. And so we consider that a win. It's not that we're better connected. We have to start looking at those connections and repairing those connections. And that's where it gets scary. And we become avoidant of doing that because of the fear of what's going to happen. My mustache is just tickling the snot out of my nose, almost literally. So, but to be able to process your emotions is a skill that allows you to be miles ahead of anybody else around you, because so many people who don't live their life intentionally have no means of being able to process their emotions. They just kind of play it by ear and then wonder why they are someplace they don't want to be. So to be able to process your emotions allows you more skill at noticing when you're feeling a negative emotion, when you're feeling a fear-based emotion. And when you know that you're feeling that, you can lean into it. You're able to recognize, oh, it's just anxiety. I get it all the time. Let's just go through it. That means I'm in the right direction. Fear is the compass for where your greatness is. Discomfort is the currency for your dreams. You have to become uncomfortable. And when you're being unintentional with it, that discomfort is a repellent, and you're going to run the opposite direction from it. So you have to become used to the fact that you're feeling uncomfortable. You have to start understanding why you feel uncomfortable. What are those emotions? Why are you having those emotions? What was that thought that you had that leads up to that emotion? When you're able to tell that, then you can actually go through and properly process the emotions. So when do you want to process your emotions? Well, the time you want to process the emotions is at the moment that you're feeling it. And at first, if you're driving, it's probably not the best because you want to really focus in on what you're thinking, what you're doing. And if you can close your eyes sometimes to be able to process that, that's a better time. So first few times you're doing it, it might be better when you're sitting on the couch. You can turn the television off, close your eyes, take a deep breath, center yourself, get grounded, and just experience the emotion for what it is, because that's what processing an emotion actually is. That is you just experiencing the emotion. Because as I've said, it's not that we want to avoid emotions. Emotions are the color is the paint of our memories. It's what colors our memories. That's what we more remember than the actual event itself. Went camping with some friends, and you ended up sticking your camp right in the middle of a bunch of stinging nettles, and every time you walked out, your feet were on fire, and you were getting mad because also on top of that, you ended up having a damn hornet's nest that was parked over your head, and so you kept getting stung through the whole camping experience. Everyone else was laughing at you. You thought you were being miserable, and that's the emotion you were feeling. Everyone else was laughing because it's like, oh my God, man, you just could not catch a break on that on that one camping trip. Those are the best the best memories that we have are the ones because we feel those emotions. When our friends help us through those emotions, we remember them even more. And we look back on them even more fondly than if we went through it alone. And even then, down the road, we start realizing that that's actually was a pretty good little trip. So we want to process those emotions so that we're not afraid of them. And it's not like, oh, I'm not afraid of it. It's not that you're scared crap. You don't have this crap being scared out of you because you have uncertainty in your heart. But if you can have the choice of feeling, the afterglow of an orgasm, as opposed to feeling uncertainty because you not sure how your wife is going to respond if you ask her for sex, you're going to want to go for the afterglow of self-stimulated orgasm. That's just human nature. So how do we process our emotions? Well, first off, we want to know emotions last maybe a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes at tops. They don't last long. And a lot of us get caught up with thinking, oh, no, it doesn't. It lasts a lot longer. I got dumped by a girlfriend, just a couple weeks ago, and I am still reeling from the sorrow of losing of that breakup. It's like, yeah, but it's not because the emotion is still running through your mind, running through your system. That emotion lasted, like I said, a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. And it was really strong because it's something you're not used to feeling, but it fades away until you have another thought of your girlfriend pop up. All of a sudden you got another thought of your girlfriend. Oh my gosh, and we're going through it. If you breaking up, you have a divorce, you're going through a divorce, you're going to have those strong emotions crop up because you haven't felt those emotions before. Since you haven't felt those emotions, you're struggling with getting past those particular emotions. If you process those emotions, you're allowing yourself to first experience the emotion. You're sitting there with the emotion. What is it? And that's the first thing you do when you're processing emotion. You give it a name. I am feeling anxiety. I'm feeling sorrow. I'm feeling guilt. I am feeling jealousy. All sorts of emotions that you can put into that category. What is it that you're feeling? Give the emotion a name. If you're struggling, there is an app out there called What We Feel, and the link is going to be in the show notes, and you can actually just kind of thumb through there. You've got essentially high energy, low energy, high energy, positive, low energy, negative. All right. And you're going to be able to say, all right, which quadrant I'm in. All right. I know it's pretty high energy. It's kind of crappy feeling. So we're high energy, negative. And you can look through all these different emotions and get really close to what it is you're feeling. You can then put a name to it. I am feeling melancholy. Okay. Why do you feel melancholy? And you can start processing and breaking apart the whole reason as to why you feel melancholy. But also you want to be able to allow yourself to just feel that emotion. So what does melancholy feel like? Well, you can start by just, where do you feel it in your body? All right. Is it sitting in the back of your head? Is it front of your chest, between your shoulder blades? Is it sitting on your right shoulder or your left shoulder? Is it sitting in your pelvis or in your thighs? Or maybe it's in the back of your knees. Who knows where you feel it? It all depends upon you. But you can look at that emotion and decide, where do you feel it? Melancholy is feeling really low in the stomach, or, sorrow, fear sits in the back of my throat, man. I've felt that thing just like it's a shot put ball sitting in the back of my throat. And that's the next step, is once you know where it's at, you can imagine this. If you were to take it out and hold it in your hands, what does it look like? Describe that emotion to yourself? Is it heavy? Is it light? Well, like for fear, for me, it's a shot put ball sitting in the back of your throat. So I feel it in the back of my throat. It feels heavy. It's solid. It's dense. Some people, I've had heartache where it's like a metal band constricting my chest. I can't breathe. My heart hurts. These are the emotions that we feel, and we can look at it and describe it. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it big? Is it little? Is it dense? Is it light? What's the texture on it? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it scaly? Is it sandpapery? Describe it in is it feathery? Is it hairy? Describe that emotion as much as you can. And as you're looking at it and as you're examining it, you're going to notice that all of a sudden that your brain kind of starts wandering off. And every time you bring it back, it's like, oh, well, it's not as strong as it was. You may have been having, jealousy at a 9, which is just you almost to the point of going to punch a dude in the face just because he's looking at your girlfriend. And you can bring it down to a 2, which is like, well, I wish he wouldn't look at her. What's his deal? And you're okay. Life isn't so scary. Life isn't so, it's not so disempowering. All of a sudden you've got more power. You see the emotion fade off. And then you're going to have the thought again. It's going to come back and it's going to come back. And it's not instead of coming back as an 8 like you had before, it comes back as maybe like a 6.5, 7. And you have to go through it. You process it again and okay, it's gone. And then you have another thought. Oh, she's got to go have a meeting with James. Oh, James. Oh my gosh. And okay. It's a 5 or 6. And you sit there and you process it. And eventually what happens is, it's like, oh God, it's James. She's not going to cheat on you, but there's just that fear. You have that little nagging fear because you had a couple girls in the past who cheated on you. And so you have that response that's already built up. So you're afraid. Oh, maybe she is. Maybe there's that little nagging possibility. But as long as you process the emotion, eventually it's going to get down to where you realize it. Oh, I'm feeling a little jealous. You can just tell her in passing. It's like, I really wish you wouldn't go hang out with James. Wish you wouldn't work with James. I feel like you're going to run off with him sometime. I just don't feel as much of a man, whatever it is. Why James is such a threat to you for whatever reason. And if you look at it and you understand why you're jealous of him or why you feel jealousy, you'll understand why why you believe that he may, why he causes that emotional response within you. And you're starting to become more intentional with how you actually process those emotions. You take those emotions, you look at them and you process them and you go through it again and again and again. And you eventually will stop stop going off and running away from the times that you could have a great time with your wife. It's like, we got an argument we got to have, or a discussion we got to have. There's going to be a little bit of conflict. I know my wife wants to go this way, and I really don't think that's a good idea. We're going to have to go this way instead. So, because we've got this, and you sit down and you tell her, she gets upset. That's rightfully so. She's going to get upset. She may get upset. She may not. We don't fully know, but let's pretend that she does. You can be okay with that. You can be okay with her being upset because the anxiety that flares up in you when she gets angry isn't a 9 anymore. You're not on the verge of going into blind panic. You're sitting at about a 2.5, 3. And yeah, it doesn't feel good, but you're like, you can go, all right, well, I'll let you calm down, but this is how we have to do it. And you're okay with that step. You can be okay with going through those and just facing that, because what happens on the other side is as y'all repair that conflict, you have a stronger connection. She knows you're not just a wishy-washy, mealy-mouthed dude anymore. You've got your views and you're holding to those views. You're holding yourself to your own standards. You're working on your mind, your body, your soul, and building up your community. And because of that, you're becoming a better man. Now, if there's anything on that you're struggling with, there are ways that I can help you. You can go to relaxedmale.com/coaching offer. And we can sit down and we can look at this and see what it is you're facing. What type of relationship problem are you wanting help with? How do you want your relationship with your wife to become even better? And I can help you step through those challenges confidently so that on the other end, you have that marriage that you want, the one that's fulfilling, the one that you and the wife are standing shoulder to shoulder or back to back, and y'all are ready to fight the world, and y'all are going to win because y'all are doing something that 90% of the rest of the world can't do, which is work together. Right now, we've got so many people just going back to back to back to back that what is what is cohesive? You make a comment these days, and all of a sudden you've got someone in one of your social media groups just blowing their heads up, going, "Oh my God, you just said that. You're racist, bigoted, sexist, homophobe." Oh my, and they're just completely losing their minds. They're clutching their pearls because you don't agree with what their view is. Can you be okay with that? Are you willing to lose a friend? Or maybe you're trying to reconnect with a friend and you're just trying to explore a little bit, and then they blow up. And this happens. This actually happened to me just a couple hours ago. You can process your emotions. You can get through those emotions, and it's okay. It's good. We just have it. We're just going to learn how to take a deep breath. And you can do that. You can take a deep breath and you can step through the discomfort, because on the other side are your dreams, that fulfillment that you want. And you can do so with a little bit of coaching. Got a special offer, 3 months of coaching, $300. You're not going to catch that price being that low for a long time, at least not for me. Once I get my five clients on the $300 level, that level is going to be gone forever. So if you would like to jump in, if you like to see check to see if there's a possibility that we could work together, come on over, man. I'd love to sit down, have a conversation with you, see how I can help you. So guys, with that, if you are interested in catching this show live, we're going to start going live every Sunday. That's possible. Sometimes I may have to double up because eventually I'll be gone on weekends and stuff. And to be able to help get these shows out, I record them, and I would love to have y'all jump in and talk with me through here. We'll do some type of Q&A thing. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, but we are live on like Podcast Guru, on Podverse, Fountain app. These are all podcasting 2.0 compliant apps that are available for those who want to watch the show live or listen to the show live, or also able to send off boosts if you like. A lot of great ways that we can actually use the new technologies that are coming about for the podcasting 2.0 initiative. So guys, with that, if you're interested in catching a podcasting 2.0 compliant app, you can go to relaxedmail.com/new apps. And you'll see a whole list of apps that are available there. So guys, with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening. Y'all take care. We will catch y'all on the next run. And then till then, bye.